How do you keep yourself motivated to work as much on YouTube as you would a 9-to-5 job? Do you feel trapped in your niche? What is your advice to someone who is a full-time student and/or employee but also wants to do YouTube? What would you do if you woke up tomorrow morning and your channel was deleted or YouTube no longer existed? Hey guys, it's Annie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. So in today's video, I'm filming a little Q&A all about being a full-time YouTuber, turning your YouTube channel into a full-time job, making a living as a full-time content creator, and all of that stuff. So I basically gathered all of your questions over on my Instagram story, my community tab post, and my Facebook group, and I basically compiled all the ones that were the most asked and the most interesting ones. And these are all some like really good questions that all touch on like stereotypes and biases and misconceptions about being a YouTuber or doing YouTube full-time, so I'm really excited to answer all of these. So I have close to about like 15 different questions here, so I'm gonna have timestamps down below in my description if you guys want to skip to any specific questions or skip one or two of them and just kind of watch at your own pace. And besides that, this is going to be just a super casual little sit down and chit chat, like you guys are my best friends sitting in my bedroom. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. So the very first question I got is possibly the most asked question, which was all things relating to like, what would you do if you woke up tomorrow morning and your channel was deleted or YouTube no longer existed? Just basically all around, how do you feel about the instability of YouTube and being a full-time content creator? So personally, in my personal opinion, I really don't see YouTube as being any more or less stable than a regular 9-to-5 job. I think both of them have their own like pros and cons. And I've had this discussion so many times with my parents, my family members, my friends, other creators. Yes, there is that teeny tiny possibility that something could totally go wrong, like your channel is deleted, YouTube shuts down. But then on the other side of things, a lot of people were super comfortable and relying on their full-time 9-to-5 job. And then there was a pandemic that hit the world, and suddenly millions and millions of people were out of a job, there were hiring freezes, people couldn't get a job and make money, and ironically enough, a lot of people actually turned to YouTube when they couldn't get other jobs. So I really think that no matter how you cut it, no matter how you look at it, there are pros and cons to any possible job on the face of the earth, whether that is a regular 9-to-5 job or being a self-employed creator. I think that everybody just has to make that own decision for themselves, which one is better suited for you, which one supports you better, and just kind of make that choice for yourself. So then the second question was, looking back on your journey on YouTube, what would you do differently if you had to start all over again from scratch? So most definitely through the like 2 or 3 years at this point that I've been on YouTube, I've learned so much that I did not know on day one. I've learned a whole lot about how the platform works, the algorithm, all the like do's and don'ts and all this, but out of everything I've learned so far from being a YouTuber and a creator, the number one thing I would go back and tell my beginner self and any other beginners on YouTube is to not listen to anybody who tells you you have to have a niche or niche down on YouTube to be successful. I sincerely wish that from day one I had never decided to be a how to grow on YouTube channel or a lifestyle channel or a vlogging channel, and I just wish I'd focused on being a personal brand and personal branding, because honestly before I actually picked a niche on YouTube, I had grown to over like 16,000 subscribers without ever having to pick a niche or niche down my channel, which should have been all the evidence I needed to prove that you don't have to have a niche to grow on YouTube. So if I had to go back and start all over again, the number one thing I would do differently is to never niche down. So then this next question I found really interesting, and somebody asked, do you ever worry about irrelevancy or what might happen if your channel is no longer popular someday in the near future? So I think personally that my number one sort of cushion and security against becoming irrelevant is that I'm not really relevant to begin with. I'm not like Lord DIY or David Dobrik or Alicia Marie, where if you say my name to a random person on the street, they know who I am right away. I honestly prefer to live a whole lot like slower, more low-key, a much more like simple life. I'm not really somebody who is chasing to become a millionaire or own a mansion someday. I just honestly want to do my favorite thing in the world, which is make videos and become financially comfortable by doing so. So definitely irrelevancy is not something I am concerned about. So then I got a whole ton of questions regarding like taxes, how to do taxes as a YouTuber, just basically how does filing your taxes work and what do they give you to file as a full-time YouTuber. So there are pretty much two main tips I would give to anybody when it comes to filing taxes or doing taxes as a YouTuber, no matter what country you live in. So the first thing I would tell absolutely anybody is to get a financial advisor. It is literally their number one job to do all of that for you. And considering I'm not the most knowledgeable about finances, how taxes work and all of that, I would much rather pay a professional who knows all the like legalities, all the like ins and outs and all of that. Just give him all the paperwork he needs and let him do everything for me. So if like me, you are not the most comfortable when it comes to taxes or handling finances, getting an advisor is the number one thing I recommend. Then the second thing I highly recommend, please everybody take this away from this video. On the very first day after tax season, start to track all of your income and your expenses and your deductibles. Basically how deductibles and deductions work as a YouTuber is absolutely anything you spend money on that goes back into your YouTube channel, that is a deductible. So if you buy any kind of YouTube filming equipment like cameras or microphones, if you go on a vacation and you vlog that trip, then any money spent on that trip is a deductible. If you make like a what I eat in a day video or you make cooking videos, then all of your groceries are deductibles. So on the very first day of the next like tax season or next tax like window, absolutely track every single cent that comes your way and every cent you spend on your channel. You will absolutely thank yourself and me when it comes to filing your taxes. So then this is another one I got asked over and over again, which is how do you keep yourself motivated to work as much on YouTube as you would a 9-to-5 job? So I absolutely cannot take credit for this quote because I first found this on Pinterest, but basically I landed on this quote picture that basically said, you will never have to motivate yourself to do something that has your 100% passion and heart, which is so freaking true, because if you think in terms of things you have to kind of push yourself to do and motivate yourself to do, go run your errands, do your homework, maybe even go to school or go to work. Those are all things that are kind of like not the most fun thing to do, that you kind of have to push yourself to do, whereas doing things like watching your favorite TV shows or listening to your favorite music, going to hang out with friends or family, going on vacation, those are all things that are really enjoyable that you look forward to and don't really have to motivate yourself to do. So I think that for me personally, because YouTube is my number one passion, it's my favorite thing to do, it literally has my 100% heart, I really don't ever have to motivate myself to plan videos or film videos or edit videos because that's literally my favorite thing to do. Back when I was in college before I first dropped out, I would literally be sitting in a college classroom, my teacher totally like tuned out, and I would just be thinking 24/7 nonstop about YouTube. So I think that like anything else, motivation comes down to passion and your heart and your love for it, and if you have to constantly motivate yourself and push yourself to film and edit, then chances are you are not all that passionate about it and maybe it's not the best thing for you to do. So then the next question was, how do you manage your time since you don't have a manager or boss to delegate your to-dos and your tasks? So I would like to think of myself as a fairly organized person. As you guys have seen in my videos, I love making my to-do list every night for the next day. I love using all those tools like the Notes app and Notion, all of my like planning apps on my phone, all of my physical like paper planners. I just get off on like organizing things, being super organized and productive. So I think that for me personally, managing my time, getting things done, keeping organized, making sure I don't like forget to do things, I think really comes down to making my to-do list and prioritizing things, making sure everything is written down, I'm reminded of everything, and nothing gets left out or forgotten. So basically just like how in my mom's 9-to-5 job, her company has all kinds of like apps and different ways of like organizing and delegating tasks, just having those own things for yourself really helps and makes a massive difference. So that for me is how I keep myself organized and productive and on top of things. So then this next question was really interesting, which was, do you feel trapped trapped in your niche. Absolutely 110%. And this totally goes back into what I said before about like, if I could change anything from day one, I never would have niche down, because now where I am at, I have over 100,000 subscribers who want to see videos from me about how to get subscribers, how to get views, how to get watch hours. And honestly, I am just really sick and tired of talking about those things over and over and over again. I feel like there are 1,000,001 YouTubers making YouTube advice videos all saying the same thing, and there really just isn't any more like uniqueness or creativity in that niche. So for my last few uploads, I've been kind of like stepping out of that niche, stepping out of that shadow, not thinking about niches at all, and just uploading whatever videos strike me fancy or inspire me that I really want to do. And to be 100% honest, even though not all of my subscribers or viewers were totally into that content, I've had the most fun making that content and editing that content. So most definitely I felt very, very trapped in that niche, and though I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do, this was definitely a very important and very effective exercise. This experiment was most definitely very, very effective in proving that. So this I also thought was a really interesting question. Somebody asked, how do creators continue to be relevant when competing with bigger fish? So definitely one of the worst things you can possibly do is to compare yourself to other creators and see YouTube as a competition. Because I promise you, even though you are seeing other channels as possible competition, nobody else is seeing you as competition. Nobody is competing for views or subscribers, because most people are subscribed over like 100, even 1,000 different channels. There are so many YouTubers that I am subscribed to that I love to watch that are very similar to other creators, but I'm subscribed to all those channels because I love them all for different reasons. There is actually an entire hashtag over on Instagram that is called something like community over competition, and that's exactly what YouTube is. It's literally called the YouTube community. If you look at YouTube like rules and guidelines, it's literally called the YouTube community guidelines, because that's what YouTube is. Even though YouTube is a social platform, it is nowhere near as competitive as Instagram or other platforms. So if you just stop seeing YouTube as a competition, stop seeing every other creator as your competition, you will have so much more fun and it will be so much more enjoyable. So then this was another really, really interesting one, and somebody asked, how does YouTube's algorithm react if you suddenly change your niche? Can you still continue to be successful? So like I said before, I gained my first 16,000 subscribers on YouTube with absolutely zero niche, so I was totally able to grow my channel with a niche and without one. As you guys have seen in some of my more recent uploads, I've made videos that have absolutely nothing to do with YouTube advice or how to grow on YouTube, and even though my core and most active audience isn't all that interested in that content, I'm still ranking all those videos in search. I'm getting views from search rankings. I'm still getting those videos on the recommended page in front of new audiences. And one other thing I want to mention is that even though you will hear the word niche over and over and over again on YouTube, YouTube actually does not register niches at all. YouTube does not look at her channel and be like, oh, that's a vlogger, that's a lifestyle channel, that's a comedy channel. YouTube literally views every single video as a unique piece of content, and the only thing they are concerned with is this video gaining attention and retaining attention? So basically, whether or not you have a niche, no matter what labels or keywords you are giving your videos and your channel as a whole, absolutely every single creator has the exact same chance of growing on YouTube and being successful. So if you are currently locking yourself in a niche because you are afraid of changing things up or trying something differently, definitely don't be afraid to change things up, because that is a total myth. This again was a really good question. You guys asked the best questions. So somebody asked, when working with brands, how do you give them what they want while staying true to your channel and your values? So one thing that I think is super, super important to remember as creators is that when you do a brand deal or a sponsorship, you are basically allowing a brand to use your YouTube channel and your videos as an ad space. Just like when you are watching TV and you have commercials, the brands are paying the channels and the networks to have their ads on the channel. Basically meaning that those companies and those advertisers need your space more than you need them and their money. So if ever you are working with a brand and you totally disagree with what they are asking you to do, you don't have to do it. There are so many times in when working with a brand that I could sense the brand kind of feeling like they almost hold the power over me, when in reality it's your channel, it's your ad space, and you hold all the cards. If you disagree with what they want you to do, you don't have to do it. Which is one of the main reasons why I got myself a manager and a management team, because they are much better at negotiating for me than I am. But all this to say that if you are working with a brand and you disagree with what they are asking you to do, doesn't line up with your values, you don't have to do it. Always remember that you are in control because it's your channel and your ad space. This is another super common misconception. Somebody asked, can you take a full week off when you're feeling down or uninspired? So there is this common misconception and kind of a rumor on YouTube that if you take like a week off of uploading, if you don't upload videos for a month, if you have like college finals or you go on vacation or you're just like uninspired for a week or two, there's this common misconception that if you don't upload for a certain amount of time, you like fall out of the algorithm and your channel is going to die. Let me assure you that I've asked YouTube themselves if this is true, and they said it is absolutely 100% untrue. Yes, of course, if you are really active with your uploads, you upload super consistently, then you have more videos out there and more chances of being discovered and gaining views and subscribers. However, those are the only circumstances about having an upload schedule that actually matter. So do not ever feel like you have to have a super strict upload schedule, that if you miss one upload, it's like game over, because that is so untrue. It is definitely quality over quantity. So now this has to be one of the most asked questions, which is, what is your advice to someone who is a full-time student and or employee, but also wants to do YouTube? One of the best things you can possibly do for yourself in one of those scenarios is to basically integrate your life into your content and vice versa. So rather than YouTube being one more thing on your to-do list, one more extra thing to do, make videos based off of your life as a student or your 9-to-5 job. There are so many YouTubers like Beth Gould and Carter Sullivan that I've been absolutely obsessed with lately, and their content is like 100% reflective of their life as a college student or an employee. I think that is one of the best ways of like killing two birds with one stone, making the most of your time and still making sure that you are doing your job or studying and getting videos out on your channel. So if this is a concern of yours, something you are struggling with, this is 11 on 10 my recommendation. I also got a whole ton of questions about like how to convince your family and friends that YouTube can be a career. So I think honestly that the proof is in the pudding. If YouTube was not a viable career, there would be nobody successful in doing it. However, on YouTube, there are millions and millions and millions of self-employed content creators, which is basically all the proof that we need to prove that it can be done. So if your friends or your family or even yourself have any concerns or misgivings of like, can I actually do this? Can I actually do YouTube full time? Can I be successful? Can it be a career? Then the proof is right there in front of you on the platform. So then the last question was, how do you handle losing subscribers and the discouragement of your content not being enough to keep them around? Okay, so let me tell you guys that gaining and losing subscribers is the most normal thing possible on YouTube. There are going to be people who are going to outgrow your content or no longer be interested in it. I am positive that every single person currently watching this video has unsubscribed from somebody's channel because you just outgrown their content. Doesn't mean that that creator sucks or their content is really bad. Doesn't mean that you hate them or they suck, just means that their videos and their content no longer suits you. And that is absolutely perfectly okay and normal. One thing I've come to learn is that for every one subscriber you lose, you're gonna gain like 10 new ones or 100 new ones, and why would you want to have somebody subscribe to you who doesn't like your content? So if you are losing subscribers, if people are unsubscribing from you, it is definitely for the best. So I would definitely just put that worry totally out of your head. Do like me, don't even look at those numbers. I'm sure there are people unsubscribing on every one of my videos, but I just choose to not look at those analytics, and in turn I don't even think about it. It's just a reality we have to be okay with as creators. So yeah, you guys, that is it for this Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it gave you some good answers, some good food for thought. As always, thank you all for watching. Love you all to the moon and back, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!